If you're over 40 and you've ever wanted to take up photography or even start your own photography business, let me share with you the 5 things that I would do after having been in the industry since a teenager and been internationally accredited and awarded professional photographer. Number 1, don't compare where you are in your photography journey with other photographers. So, because your experience, it actually matters. I started out my photography journey as a quiet teenager back in the days when the camera was loaded with film and it actually wasn't digital. And I would go around with my camera and I'd just be photographing like my family or my cousins or my aunts and just everyday life things in general, and never really thinking much of it until, much later. And I'm now 52, and I can tell you that from all those years of photographing and working with the camera and working with people and understanding people, that there's so many life lessons in there that I draw from and use in my own photography. So if you are over 40, you're perfectly positioned to take on or start up your own photography journey or photography business, because some of the lessons that I'd learned was how to hold space for people, which sounds easy, but it actually isn't that easy. And it's even harder to try and learn how to talk with people and ask them questions. When you're younger as a photographer, you don't tend to have much in the way of, communication-wise, but those of us who are older, we generally know how to communicate with people and how to, try and get the best out of people and hold space for people, which is really, really integrally important, particularly in the field of photography. Number 2 is select a place to start journaling about all the things that you're learning in your photography. So when I first started out looking down the field of becoming a professional photographer, I would actually print my photographs. I would print them, just at my local photography store in a 4x6 size. And this was purely because so that, 1, they were small enough that they could easily fit and be, packed away in a box. And 2 was that on the back of them, I would actually put down the details from the photos. So things like, the light or, the info from the day or the camera settings or the story. And I'd always write it in pencil, which was pretty integral. And what I'd actually found was I built up an archive of, I suppose, information for photography and for my camera settings and for the things that, I wanted to actually go out and photographed. And you can do this now. You have the capabilities of being able to do it using, social media, Instagram, Facebook, things like that. And if I get it, it can be really scary to try and put yourself out there in, online because, judgment is a big thing. And if you don't want to do it that way, then by all means, do it the way that I did it, which was going out and printing the 4x6s and writing down handwriting in pencil on the back of the photographs, the details of the photographs, because when you look back at them, even after a month, you will learn so much, even just after a month. 6 months, you will have physically be able to see the growth in your own photography and even learn more about your photography and yourself and the things you want to actually photograph. Number 3 is to enter photography awards now. I was always really scared about entering my work into any sort of awards because, I would look at my work and then I'd look at the award winners' work, and the caliber and standard of their photography work was phenomenal. It was extraordinary. It was completely beautiful. There were beautiful stories that were being told in just one single image. And I thought that there was no way that I could compete with that. But I then I took the courage to enter in my first, I think I entered in my first 3 photographs in the Portrait Masters Awards and accreditation. And I suddenly became very addicted, really addicted, because the couple of things were that I was just nervous about entering them, but more importantly, that award category, that they were being judged by the best photographers in the world today. And so they didn't know me, they didn't know my work, they didn't know anything about me, not even my website, nothing like that. So it was a purely clean slate of the world's top photographers looking at and judging my photographs, and then most importantly giving me actual feedback on my photos. And from that I learned to grow so much in my photography work, because they weren't doing it out of malice or out of harm, or to put you down and not want you to do photography. They were doing it out of kindness, in a way that, because they want other photographers to succeed. They do. And entering into awards now, like, is good. It's good for your own journey. It's good for your learning. It's good to be in different photography communities and see other people's work. And it's good to know, like, who's who in the field of the photography. So I would highly recommend entering your work into awards and or accreditation right now. Don't even bother to wait. Just do it. Number 4 would be to pick a genre that you like to photograph or you want to photograph, and be completely obsessed with it. See, my grandmother, she had this big brown wooden box that she would keep underneath her bed, and it was full of these, beautiful old photographs that were in sepia and black and white and done on box brownies. And as a kid, I would pull out that box and I would pore endlessly over those photographs and just marvel at, the expressions and the clothes that people were wearing, and just that time and that era. And I became completely taken with the idea of portrait photography, because I knew that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to create beautiful photographs for other people through portraits. And so I literally became obsessed with learning everything that I possibly could about portrait photography. That meant going out and finding the best portrait photographers in the world, learning from them, buying their courses, just watching them and listening to them as they speak. And then just because when you know the genre that you do want to photograph and you really fall in love with it, it shows in your work. There's no doubt about it. There's no way that it can't show, because there's so much depth and love and passion for it that you actually produce these pieces. Other people see it. They do. They see it. And, and other people fall in love with it. No, it's quite literally during this whole journey of the portrait photography process, I was actually posting my work online. So one, I could see how I was growing, but also because then my people and my community and the people that I wanted to be clients, they could find me, they could see me, they could see the caliber of the work that I was actually producing wasn't, just a point and shoot. It was high-end quality portrait photography work. So the thing is, find what it is that you love more than anything to photograph, whether that be people, landscapes, wildlife photography, food, whatever it is. Find what the passion is and go out and just be mad keen about obsessively finding out how you can better that genre to make you stand out in the crowd of the world of photography for that genre. And my 5th and final one is to photograph the people who are important to you often. I am a mother and I'm also a grandmother. And like I said, I've had a camera in my hand since I was a teenager. But when my first child was born, I photographed their entire life, from their birth all the way to when they became adults. I did it for all of my children, all 3 of my children. And I also then did it when I became a grandmother with my first grandchild. I photographed the grandchild coming into the world and holding the grandchild for the first time, and seeing them grow and explore and see the world, and for every milestone in their life, like the first day of school and getting their first tooth, or having their their first formal portraits done. Like I've done that for both my kids and my grandkids' lives. And as they're coming now into teens. So I've been photographing my kids and my grandkids for over 36 years. And I have now this incredible, incredible archive of these moments and these stories with them that, that can never be repeated, but that I could always share with them and tell with them, like over the dinner table, or over a barbecue, and we talk about it. I have it in both digital, I also have it in print form, and they are the most precious things to me in the world, apart from, of course, my darling husband. But yeah, that would be my fifth tip, to photograph the people who are important to you and photograph often. So let me just recap on the top 5 tips. Tip number 1, don't compare where you are in your photography journey with other photographers. Tip number 2, select a place to start journaling about all the things that you're learning, whether that be digital in social media or whether that be in print form. Print a 4x6 and write all the details of the photograph on the back of the photograph in pencil. Tip number 3, enter photography awards now. Don't wait. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't think that, you have no right to be entering into this, because you have every right. You need to be there. It's part of the growth. It's part of the journey. It's part of how you become better as a photographer. So enter photography awards now. Tip number 4, pick a genre and be completely obsessed with it. Find out everything that you can about it, who's the highest in the field, learn from them, learn about light, learn about different ways that you can actually photograph, learn about angles, learn about everything that you possibly can about the genre that you become completely obsessed with, so that you could be the best in the field for that genre in your community. And number 5 is photograph the people who are important to you often from this day forward. Whether that is your partner, your loved ones, your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, whoever. You may be a community worker. You may want to photograph, yourself. I've done, for 2 years straight, I did self-portraits of me. And that wasn't a vanity thing. That was purely to increase my knowledge and my skills, but also to have a record of my own journey over a period of 2 years, because I turned 50 and I wanted to see how much I'd grown. And I love them, absolutely love them, and now I have them. So those are my 5 tips for you if you are over 40 and you're thinking of wanting to try or test your feet in the waters of photography, or become a professional photographer. And I hope that was helpful to you, but I would love for you to come back. If you would like to, please feel free to buy me a copy. The link is in below, so is my website, and I shall see you in the next video. I have a puppy at my feet that's just nipping away at my toes. Let me just show you this puppy. Come here. Look at that puppy face. Look at that puppy face. Liz has been biting at my feet. Yes, she has. Okay, go back to sleep. Mommy's got things to do. Thank you.